Hi everyone, I'm Michael Ruger. I'm the managing partner at Greenbush Financial Group. Congress successfully passed the second round of stimulus on December 21st, and within this stimulus package includes a second round of checks from the IRS to individuals. Now, some of the terms of these stimulus checks stayed the same, but some things are different. So in this video, I'm going to go through who's eligible for these second round of checks, what tax year they're going to be looking at for determining your eligibility based on income, the amounts of the new checks which change, and also whether you should expect to pay tax or not on this second round of stimulus checks from the IRS. First, let's talk about the amounts of the new round of stimulus checks. So they are going to be lower than the first round. So in the first round, individuals were eligible up to $1,200 per person, $500 per dependent. In the second round, individuals will only be eligible up to $600 per person and $600 per each dependent under the age of 17. Second, let's go over who's going to be eligible to receive this second round of stimulus checks. Now, they made some changes here. If you are a single filer, as long as you make under $75,000, you are eligible for the full stimulus payment. That's true of the first round and the second round. But what they changed was the phase out range. So the phase out range is where you slowly start to lose the credit up to the top, or once you earn over a certain amount, you don't get any tax stimulus payment. In the first round, the range was $75,000 to $98,000. In this one, it's a more condensed phase-out range of $75,000 to $87,000. So once you make over $87,000 as a single filer, you are no longer eligible for this second round of stimulus payments. Married filing joint is going to be similar. They have the same lower threshold as they did for the first round, which is $150,000. Which means if you're married filing joint, you make under $150,000, you are fully eligible for the second round of stimulus payments, just like you were the first one. But again, they condensed the phase-out range. In the first round, the phase-out range went from 150 to 198. In the second round, it only goes from 150 to 174. So once you make over 174,000, you are completely phased out of this second round of IRS stimulus payments. Here's something very important that's going to change with this second round of IRS stimulus checks to individuals. So when they issued the first round, it was towards the beginning of 2020. A lot of people had not filed their 2019 tax return yet. So what the IRS did is, for purpose of assessing those income thresholds, they either looked at your 18, if that was the last one that was filed, or your 19, if it happened to be filed prior to the stimulus checks being issued. So some individuals, their income was low enough in 18 and they got the check, but if they had filed their 19, they wouldn't receive the check because they were over that income threshold. So for this second round, everyone has pretty much filed their 2019 taxes. They're going to look at your 2019 tax returns. So if you got in under your 18 return because your 19 income was higher, you may or may not get a check this time around because they're going to be looking at your 2019 income for purposes of the second round of stimulus checks. The taxation of these stimulus checks in the second round is going to be the same as the first round. These are not going to be taxable income to the recipients of this money from the IRS, because what it is just a tax credit advance from the IRS for 2020. So instead of you having to wait to file your taxes and claim the credit, the IRS is just sending you the money now. So for anyone that might have had higher income in 19, but their income dropped dramatically in 2020, so not eligible based on income in 19, but now their 2020 places them below those income thresholds, even though you didn't get the advance from the IRS in the first or second round, when you go to file your taxes for 2020, as long as you're below those income thresholds, you can claim the credit on your tax return, and that's essentially when you'll receive your stimulus from the IRS. The question came up, what if I end up making more than the allowable amount in 2020, but I received the full stimulus check or part of the stimulus check? Do I have to pay that back to the IRS when I file my taxes for 2020? Thankfully, the answer is no. If you qualified based on your 18 or 19 income for the first and second rounds, and your 2020 income went up and placed you above those thresholds for the stimulus payments, the IRS is actually not requiring you to essentially pay them back for the money that was advanced to you, even though your 2020 income was higher. The other thing that's going to change under the second round is the timing of the payments. So if you remember, the first round of payments, they announced all the stimulus checks, but the checks didn't start getting issued for a few months after it was announced. Secretary Mnuchin came out on December 21st and said taxpayers could start receiving some of these stimulus payments as early as the following week. So instead of it being a few months, it might only be a few weeks before individual taxpayers receive the second round. Now, a special note, in the first round, they sent out some physical checks, some debit cards, and people were throwing away the debit cards because they look like junk credit cards in the mail. Just be very careful with your mail over the next few weeks because you could get one of those cards. We haven't found out yet whether they plan to do checks or debit cards, but since there were debit cards in the first round, just keep an eye out for them in their second round because you might accidentally throw your stimulus payment away. So just be careful. I hope this was helpful. Feel free to reach out to us with questions at moneysmartboard.com. Thank you.